Welcome back, Next Level Crew, to another episode of What's Your Next. And today we got a really good episode where we're going to be covering the rise of personalization, customer experience, and franchising. And this is a really large and growing topic these days, not just for franchises, but for business in general.
Welcome to What's Your Next. This is the go-to podcast for aspiring business owners who want to get to the next level, escape the rat race, and give their middle finger to the corporate 9-to-5. If you want financial freedom, work-life balance, and the business of your dreams, you're in the right place. Dave and Stacy Riska, husband-wife franchising duo, openly share their successes, failures, and lessons learned in franchising, business ownership, and working with your spouse.
Personalization as a whole right now is reshaping businesses in many ways, from stronger loyalty of customers, increased sales, and really the meaning of personalization, which is customized experiences. And we're going to tie this in with franchising now a little bit. So, Stacy, what does personalization mean in the context of franchising? I mean, what's its importance?
Well, you just laid it out, right? Personalization is where you, as the customer, get what you feel is a personalized experience targeted to you. So, for example, in our coffee smoothie business, we would try to personalize the experience for our customers by allowing them the option to customize their menu and or giving cool names to the drinks. And so this way, they felt like they were getting a customized, personalized experience. And what that does is the customer has a great experience, they leave rave reviews, they refer you, and they come back and spend more money.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good overall example of a personalized or a more personalized experience. Personalized experience ties in, their own personal information and so on and so forth. That was a little bit difficult to do in our interactions, but we tried. It was definitely part of our business strategy. So how are franchises implementing personalization in their operations? I mean, you kind of touched on a little bit with your example. So,
well, this is an area where I feel franchises really excel. They have the tools and the technologies that some startup is just not going to be able to compete. They have all the AI tools, the CRMs, they're using data analytics, they are customizing promotions. So think of something as simple as a coffee shop. If they know that Dave likes a decaf latte, which he does, and I prefer a mocha, then the messages that I get via email, text, social media, or direct mail are targeted to me and my mocha versus him and his decaf latte. So they have all the tools and the technologies that are automating all of this.
They definitely do. And we see every day with these franchises where they are really, really ramping up the implementation of AI and customer experience. And it's really great to see. I think this is what's going to give them an advantage out there in the market space going forward, not necessarily against maybe the big businesses that exist because they have this already, but certainly, if you're thinking of starting a business, you at least have all of this already available to you and already in place versus you having to go out and build this all on your own. Think about the daunting task of that sometimes is mind-boggling. And just to set the record straight, it's a decaf latte with almond milk.
Oh, okay. Now that's super personalized.
That would be personalized. All right. So this all sounds great. Personalization, we all get it, right? It just seems so natural, right? As a way to, bring more customers in and increase customer loyalty, so on and so forth. So what are some of the challenges franchise might be facing when implementing, personalization strategies?
Yeah, there's a lot to think about on this side because a rising concern nowadays is data privacy. And so how is the franchise keeping all of this customer information safe and secure? These are questions that you might want to ask when you get to the point of talking to a specific franchise. there's a lot of money that a franchise has to continually invest in these tools and technologies. So you want to make sure that the franchise that you're looking at is continually moving forward, investing in these to help all of their franchise be successful and bring in more customers. And then also the whole point of consistency, because although the information, the way that they're using the data to provide a customized experience, you want to make sure that the back end of this is safe and secure. So you're the tech guru, Dave. I nickname you Digital Dave. What would you say about this?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same thing. When you have to deal with all of these rules and regulations today, you know, with data privacy and PCI compliance,
right,
and you name it, there's so much regulation out there today around running a business. You know, I think it's just important that you recognize that there are some constraints on what you can and can't do, right?
Well, I'm going to add in another caveat to it, the opposite side, which is you don't want to appear like Big Brother. Like, we know that you like a decaf almond latte, or a decaf latte with almond milk. So, and you've ordered 3 of them in the past 6 days. Like, it's almost getting a little bit creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't want to ultra personalize, in my opinion. I find that a little bit creepy.
Yeah, that would be creepy. I mean, if they came up and said, would you like the same thing you had the last time? I would be less offended by, would you like a decaf almond milk semi-warm with, a single pump of,
because we know that that's what you ordered the past 2 times.
Right. So I can see that. Right. You don't want to overdo it is really what it comes to. You got all your data privacy, but you really don't want to. I think I agree with Stacy here. You don't want to overdo the personalization.
Yeah.
You just need to make it enough to recognize that you know who they are, what they like, and how to serve them. So this is leading right into the next question that I had, and that is, how does personalization impact customer loyalty and franchise growth? And, we've talked a little bit about what personalization is, but what's the impact of it? What do you think?
I'll give an example from a customer point of view. We had a problem with our dryer, and we knew that we needed to have, it was clogged with lint and it needed to be cleaned. Well, guess what? There's a franchise for that. So we contacted this franchise, and the customer experience through the use of technology and personalizing it was so phenomenal because, first of all, from the initial outreach and the questions that they asked, they were able to personalize the experience. And then the technology, like they texted me a picture of the technician that was coming, and I knew exactly where he was on the road and when he was in my driveway. And then as he's providing the service, I'm getting a personalized experience. And as he left, I got tools and technology, right, to leave a review and how was my experience and here's what you can do to keep your dryer maintained. It was a wonderful experience. And so that then is going to help the franchise grow because guess what? I'm talking about it here. I'm going to tell other people about it. It was a wonderful experience. And when they come back and then want to upsell me on other services, I'm going to be much more amenable to it.
Yeah, she's told me about this experience quite a few times, and I'm sure she shared this with several other people. So think about that. Yeah. Really, I mean, personalization is definitely really important, I believe. And the nice thing about it is you have the opportunity to look at franchises as an alternative business investment versus just doing all this stuff and trying to do this all on your own, which to me seems like a whole lot of work that, with nothing and no prior experience to really understand how to personalize things in a way that really makes sense for that type of business. And here's a perfect execution of that type of personalization. So great episode, a lot of fun talking about personalization. You guys can buy me a decaf latte with almond milk anytime you want to. Appreciate it. If you like our content, do me a favor, like and subscribe. It really does help us with the YouTube algorithm. Click the buttons below. And we really do appreciate you joining us today for another episode of What's Your Next?